Let's turn off our headphones and stuff. That way we don't get kicked off pre-broadcast.
Yep, I'm already down over here.
Oh, yeah. So 60 seconds, it says.
Well, I wish I could get it changed.
You are invited to join. Why is my seat down like this?
Low rider.
Ten seconds.
9, 8. We are recording.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I look, but...
Right.
93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening to us on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can download the Radio Lex app on your smartphone device to listen to us anywhere in the entire world. You can also stream the show live on the web at radiolex.us. Ember Turner and I are both broadcasting from the Deborah Hensley Studios here at Radio Lex on North Limestone. It is November the 3rd, 2022, 4:01 to be exact. It is a beautiful, beautiful fall day out there, Amber, and it is officially the month of November.
I know.
November is the 11th month of the year.
Yeah.
It has 30 days, and it marks the beginning of the winter holiday season for most people.
Uh-huh.
For most people. Now, we know officially that the winter doesn't get started till December. But a lot of people consider November, well, it's wintertime.
Well, I mean, that's what I say. It's wintertime.
Even if the winter solstice doesn't occur until December, because that's when, I guess, winter is officially considered winter, is when the solstice comes, right? That's
Yeah,
like
the shortest day.
Yes. But a lot happens in the month of November. Are you a November fan?
I mean, you know, it's the month right after my favorite month, so I think this is like my detox month.
Yeah, it is. I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's kind of... November's not really my favorite because October is, and it's kind of a
Yes.
hangover from all that goodness of October.
Well, and, you know, then we have Christmas right around the corner.
Yes.
It's kind of that in-between holidays month.
Yes, yes. And you mentioned before your favorite shows that we do on here are our Christmas ones.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Amber, it is November. A lot happens in this month of November. November 1st, it was All Saints Day. November 4th, which is tomorrow, is called Will Rogers Day.
Oh,
November 5th is Sadie Hawkins Day.
okay.
What is that?
Isn't that what girls ask guys to the dance?
I always thought that. We never had one in school.
No.
Thank God I never...
wouldn't ask none of y'all know.
I wouldn't have got asked, probably. November, that's a lot of pressure. I feel like there's more pressure to be asked
There is.
than it is to ask,
them
because
asking.
if nobody asks you, then that's embarrassing.
Exactly.
November 6th at 2 a.m. is the end of daylight savings time.
Right.
So set your clocks back 1 hour on Saturday night at bedtime. Can you believe that?
The most depressing time of the year.
So
right there.
daylight saving time. We're going back. The time goes back. It gets darker. I wish they would go ahead and do away with it. Why they haven't, I don't know. I feel like every year we have this conversation.
We do.
The best time is the time in April, or is it March?
I guess-
when it springs forward.
Is it March?
But I don't like this time when it falls back. November 8th, we'll talk about this. It's Election Day.
Woo!
So we'll talk about the election on today's show. So don't forget to go out there and vote. Every vote does count. November the 11th is Veterans Day and Remembrance Day in Canada. November the 19th is Discovery of Puerto Rico Day. November the 24th is Thanksgiving Day. One of the best holidays out there.
Yes.
A lot of good food, spending a time with your family. November 28th is also the first Sunday of Advent.
Okay.
So here are some just for fun dates in November. Wacky celebrations to look forward to. On November 1st, which is already passed, it was National Cook for Your Pets Day.
Okay.
Did you celebrate that and cook for Ralph and Piddle?
I literally cook the bacon every morning, so every day is Cook for Your Pet Day.
November the 6th will be Zero Tasking Day.
I don't know.
I'm assuming that
What's
that's
that
where
mean?
you have 0 tasks on your list and you just relax.
Can't fin to do that.
November the 9th is National Scrapple Day. November the 16th is National Button Day. November the 21st is World Hello Day. November 23rd is Fibonacci Day.
Hey.
November Moon and Astrology. We have the full Beaver Moon.
Yeah, there we go.
Which hits home for me because I'm from Beaver.
Same.
Yeah, so what's a Beaver Moon?
Hey, that's our moon, baby.
It says in the colonial era, this was the month to set one's beaver traps before the swamps froze and beavers retired to their lodges to ensure a supply of warm winter furs.
Hey.
Now, we're both from a town called Beaver, so I wonder if the moon shines bright on my old Beaver home.
On Beaver tonight.
You can also catch a total lunar eclipse called the Blood Moon in
Yes.
November. It happens in the early morning hours of November the 8th. The total lunar eclipse will be visible for much of North America. The full eclipse begins at 5:16 a.m., reaching its total eclipse at 5:59 a.m.
Woo.
So all you early birds have to get up to see that. The November weather, according to weather folklore, a heavy November snow will last until April.
Oh.
That means if it snows heavy in November, we're going to have bad winter all the
Yeah.
way till April. I feel like we're setting ourselves up for a really, really cold winter.
Yeah. Well, cold I can handle. Snowy, not so much.
So here are some more weather folklores for November. If there's ice in November, that will bear a duck. There'll be nothing after but sludge and muck. If tree shows buds in November, the winter will last until May. There is no better month in the year to cut wood than November. And then ice in November brings mud in December.
Oh.
So that's some November weather folklore. How about some November gardening? Do you ever get out and do any gardening in November?
Well, I don't know about November, but I like a little garden.
It says here that autumn is the best time to prepare your yard properly for a healthy spring growth. It's much easier to handle these tasks now than wait
Yeah.
until the start of spring to do that.
I agree.
The birthstones in November is a traditional birthstone called the topaz, usually a yellow to amber color.
Hey.
Hey, the ancient Greeks believed that topaz could make a wearer invisible. A symbol of honor and strength, topaz was also believed to bring longevity and wisdom.
Hey.
The birth flower in November is called the Chrysanthium. Generally, chrysanthemums represent cheerfulness. A red one conveys I love you, and white symbolizes true or pure love. A yellow one indicates slighted love.
Oh.
Yeah. Everyday advice for November. It's also the start of cold and flu season.
Oh, well, we know that.
We do know that.
Yeah.
I reckon it's going around bad in central Kentucky. I've heard a lot of school districts flirting with the idea of canceling schools. I've heard a lot of people flirting with the idea of going back to masks. So it's untelling. It is flu season. It makes me really nervous. There was a bunch of kids got off the bus at my house earlier today, and all I heard was,
Well, that's just the soundtrack repeat from Trick or Treat Night.
I was like, God almighty. Yeah, we don't stand a chance.
No.
The zodiac for November, Scorpio is from October 23rd to November the 22nd, and Sagittarius is November 23rd to December the 21st.
Hey.
There you go. But that is some November facts for your day, the month of November, and I think it'll be a good one.
Well, I hope so.
I hope so too. it is one of those months that has potential to be great because the weather is still kind of up in the air between cold and hot. And you still got a nice chill holiday in there.
Well, you got one day you know you're going to get a bunch of food.
Yes.
That's a win.
And hopefully leftovers.
All kinds of leftovers.
But ladies and gentlemen, we still have lots more off the cuff coming at you live after these words, so stick with us. We'll be right back.
Radio
Love it
X
when
has the
those don't
support of corner sponsor Central Bank.
I always give it like 2 seconds, and then I
CentralBank.com.
wait for you guys to shout.
Do you have enough room on the road? Do your best to keep a safe distance buffer between you and the car behind you.
Oh,
What's
will you
a
do me a
safe
favor?
distance? Use the 2-second rule.
Do you have a
Choose
pen?
any
Oh,
marker
never mind. I got a
on the
pen.
road,
Will you see
a
what time the
sign, a
game
cone, a
is?
mile marker.
Don't have to do it now.
From the time
I
the rear
do.
bumper of the
You don't
vehicle
have to
in
do it, but
front
I
of
need
you
you to be
passes the
focused on this
marker,
next segment too.
make sure you can count 2 seconds before you reach the marker with the front of your car. Hi, this is Deborah Hensley with State Farm,
Should be
reminding
right.
you to be a good
Needs to
neighbor
be focused.
and leave a
Okay.
safe distance between your car and others on the road.
Is it Missouri?
Yep.
Okay. ESPN.
Radio X has the support of vinyl sponsor
12.
Vanessa Wells Gray. Thank you.
Oh no, I'm sorry. SEC Network.
Radio X has the support of corner sponsor Central Bank.
Okay.
CentralBank.com.
Well, we're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in studio with me. You recognize this theme song from the Jeffersons?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yes, we covered theme songs before on this show plenty of times. We covered even the best TV sitcom theme songs. So I don't think this was one that we put on there. Should have been,
Oh well, yeah.
but it's a great one. You gotta love the old classic sitcoms. Sitcoms in general, they don't exist hardly anymore. We tried to sit down and think of modern sitcoms that we have today. We were struggling trying to pull some out.
Well, I will say I'm thankful you clarified something for me because most people don't know exactly what a sitcom is. And even today, I had to re-ask you when we started the conversation.
I'm pretty sure, for the most part, you have the laugh track in there. In
Yeah.
front of a studio audience. It's got to be in front of a studio audience, and it's got to be a half an hour.
There we go.
Now, a film major might come at me and say, well, it don't have to have a live audience. But most sitcoms have the live
They
audience.
do.
Most sitcoms, though, classic ones, were great TV. And they were their own thing, sitcoms were. For the most part, sitcoms were very, very upbeat, very funny, very light-hearted, and it was just good material to watch because it was just mindless. It was just mindless TV. You could see it, relax, watch it with your family, and didn't really have to worry about those dark, dramatic moments. But Amber, I started doing a rewatch
Yeah.
on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a very good one. And it's a great show. 98% of that show is comedy. But that leaves 2% where it has a lot of dark moments in it.
Oh yeah.
And Amber, it made me start thinking of other sitcoms out there that were 97, 98% comedy. But those 2 or 3% was dark moments in the sitcoms.
Oh, and they were so dark
They were-
because you were used to the comedy.
That's the thing. They really stood out to you.
Yes.
Because you were so used to just a lighthearted, joking character or a real lighthearted scene. So when they hit you with a dark, dramatic scene in a sitcom, it hits different.
You're like, whoa,
It hits,
ready.
it hits different. So it made me start thinking, Amber, of the most or the darkest sitcom moments in history. And since I started watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, let me start talking about that. I'm almost finished. I'm on season 6 of Fresh Prince. But one of the darkest moments that I've seen in TV sitcom history comes from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's what I want to talk with the audience today about. I want to talk about the darkest sitcom moments in history. And we'll start with The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. There was a particular episode where Will Smith's father came back to town. Now, if anybody's never watched Fresh Prince, let me give you a little background information. It was about this guy named Will Smith. He was from West Philadelphia, born and raised. And his mom raised him. His dad ran out on him when he was just a little boy. So he was raised by a single mom. And then he got to some trouble out in Philadelphia, so she sent Will out to Bel-Air to live with his rich relatives. So Uncle Phil, who became like a father figure to him and who took him in and raised him like he was his own, was kind of who took the role of him being the father, right?
Yep, it was.
Well, in this particular scene that I'm going to play, this is from season 4 of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Will's dad finally just walks back into town, and he wants to have something to do with Will now that he's all grown up.
Oh, yeah.
So he shows back up. Will's excited. Will can't believe that his dad's actually he's actually there to see him. So they start hanging out. And in this particular scene, you will see that you will hear that Will and his father just got back from spending the day at the fair.
Oh.
Yes.
I love the fair.
And his dad, Will's dad, tells Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil, hey, Will's going to go on the road with me for a couple months because he's a truck driver.
Oh.
And we're going to spend more time together. And Uncle Phil has some words to say about it. Now, this is the first part of the scene that I'm going to play. Excuse me. Pick up that damn phone. A mistake. Be as perfect as you, Uncle Phil. And then he busts through the door after saying that to Uncle Phil. Who cares what you think? You are not my father.
Ooh.
And the look on Uncle Phil's face was just pure sadness. But as the episode progresses, Will's getting packed. He's getting ready to go out on the road with his dad. But guess what? His dad shows up and says, oh, sorry, something's come up and we're not going to be able to do the trip. And then he walks out on Will again, and now this is Will and Uncle Phil in the living room after that just happened.
I'm still 5 years old, you know? Ain't like I'm gonna be sitting up every night asking my mom, when's daddy coming home, you know? Who needs him? Hey, he wasn't there to teach me how to shoot my first basket, but I learned, didn't I? Hey, I got pretty damn good at it too, didn't I, Uncle Phil? Got through my first day without him, right? I learned how to drive, I learned how to shave, I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him! I ain't need him then and I don't need him now.
Will.
You know what, Uncle Phil? I'm gonna get through college without him. I'm gonna get a great job without him. I'm gonna marry me a beautiful honey, and I'm having me a whole bunch of kids. I'm gonna be a better father than he ever was. And I sure as hell don't need him for that, because ain't a damn thing he could ever teach me about how to love my kids. How come he don't want me, man?
And then Uncle Phil embraces him with a hug, and there's no laugh track, there's no music. The episode just fades to black. One of the most darkest scenes and moments in TV sitcom history, as Amber sits over there and bawls.
You played that just because you knew it was going to make me cry.
And bawls.
Oh my goodness.
And bawls her eyes out. And there's a lot of people, when they watch things like this, it really hits home to them.
No, especially, if you grew up like Will and I did with parents that weren't there.
Right. And there's so many viewers of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that could relate to Will, so this scene really hits. And it doesn't matter, after all these years later, when I watched that, it did bring a tear to my eye.
Oh, well, I mean, you see me.
Because it's very sad. But yes, we'll start the list with this. Now, next up on the list as one of the darkest moments in sitcom history comes from the show Roseanne.
Ooh.
Were you ever a fan of Roseanne?
You know I was.
Roseanne was one of the most realistic shows out there.
Absolutely.
Every scene in Roseanne was just very realistic. It was about a middle-class family that really just faced a lot of just everyday life issues.
Yes.
Well, this particular scene that I'm going to play is when Roseanne discovers that her sister Jackie has been beaten by her boyfriend.
Ooh.
Let's take a listen.
I'm not going to go anywhere until you tell me how you got down.
I told you I'm okay.
You come over here, your back is all bruised up, you won't tell me nothing about it. And I know you didn't get raped or mugged or something. Does Fisher know about this?
Why can't you just drop it?
That son of a bitch.
You don't understand.
He beat the crap.
No, he didn't. It's no big deal.
It's no big deal. What are you saying? He hit you. It's not like he forgot your birthday.
We had an argument this afternoon, and he pushed me a couple times. Not Fisher's fault.
Then whose fault is it? I can't believe that you're saying
You
that.
don't even listen to me. He said he was sorry, and it would never happen again.
Damn, Jackie, you were a cop. You heard this same crap a million times. Now you're throwing it out on me. How could you let this happen to you?
Shut up! You don't know the whole story. He's been under a lot of pressure lately. There's no work. And I told him that he should look for a job at a bigger company, and he told me that I didn't believe in him, and he told me a million times when he gets in a mood like that I should just walk away, and I didn't. I just kept pushing him and pushing him.
Don't say any more.
What happened?
Fisher beat the crap out of her.
What?
I'm all right. I don't want anybody to know about it.
And there you... And there you go.
Ooh, I remember that one.
Another dramatic moment and a dark moment from a television show. And again, a show that is most of the time pure comedy.
Yes.
Turns very dark.
Ooh, and that kind of topic. Ooh.
Yes, domestic violence. And yes, how many people do you think hit home with that one right there?
Oh, I wouldn't even want to begin to imagine. Probably way more than we want to think.
All right, next on the list for one of the darkest moments in sitcom history comes from one of my favorite sitcoms, Family Matters.
Ooh.
And this particular scene talks about racial profiling. Now, keep in mind, this clip is over almost 30 years old, and it still sounds like a clip that could have been recorded yesterday. Because Carl Winslow, who is the main character of the show, he's a black cop, he's got a black family, and his son gets racially profiled and pulled over by a white cop. And this scene 30 years ago still has a lot of power today. Take a listen.
The driver was a black teenager.
Yeah. Ran a stop sign.
It was failure to signal.
Whatever. Who are you, the activist on the force?
No, I'm a father on the force, and that kid was my son.
I can see you being upset and all, but hey, it was your kid that messed up, so don't try and take it out on me, all right?
No, it's not all right. And do you know why it's not all right, Evans? Because I think that you rousted my son.
No way. He fit the description of a carjacker we've been looking for.
That will not cut it, Evans. Because I am familiar with all the outstanding carjacking bulletins, and not one suspect even remotely resembles my son.
Come on, give me a break. It's dark, it's a black guy.
Oh, case closed. Lock him up.
You know, bottom line, your kid was in the wrong part of town.
The wrong part of town?
Yeah.
Oh, so what are you saying? That black kids aren't allowed in white neighborhood?
They wouldn't be there unless they were looking for trouble. And you better talk to your kid. He gave me a lot of lip.
Is that why you made him get out of his car? Is that why you forced him to lie down? Is that why you cuffed him?
Sarge, if your son had just told us he was a cop's kid, it would have been no problem.
So what are you saying? That you only harass black kids whose parents aren't cops?
I didn't say that.
You didn't have to say that. Because the point is that you two harassed my...
There you go.
Ooh.
So a clip that was almost 30 years old sounds like a scene that could have been filmed yesterday.
Oh my god.
Because it's still happening.
Yes.
So it gives it more power with the fact that this was 30 years ago and Carl was talking about this issue of racial profiling 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There was... I miss shows like Family Matters.
Yeah, when they actually gave good advice and showed you how to deal with problems, yes.
And talked about issues that people were afraid to talk about and issues that were taboo during that time. Because you got to think, this is 1993-ish, 4-ish.
Oh.
Very taboo. Very taboo to talk about racial profiling and things like that. Now, I've got one more audio to play, and this one comes from the Golden Girls.
Okay.
And I like this particular one because Dorothy confronts her doctor who just shooed her away and dismissed her symptoms when she told her doctor she was really sick, but her doctor didn't give her enough attention and acted like he didn't even care. And the reason I want to play this dark clip is because we all have been to the doctor.
Yes.
And we all know that when you go to the doctor, it's not fun.
No.
You worry when you are telling your doctor you have a problem, you have a health issue, you just hope that your doctor is a good enough doctor in person to take you serious.
Be receptive.
And be receptive to the things you're telling him instead of just shooing you away.
Dismissing.
So this might not be so much a dark moment. Maybe it is because it does remind you that doctors don't listen. But Dorothy confronts her doctor. Take a listen. There you go.
Boom.
Boom. Now, there's more to this scene that led up to this conversation that got pretty dramatic, but for the sake of time, I shortened it and showed that, but I think that got the point across.
Absolutely it does.
Amber, there's many, many more that I didn't play, but there's a couple that we won't have time to play. What about 8 Simple Rules, when John Ritter died in real life, and they wrote that into the storyline on the show?
Yes.
And they had the family find out that he just collapsed going to get milk at the supermarket one morning. What about on the Archie Bunkers It was called Archie Bunker's Place, when his wife Edith died.
Oh my gosh.
And Archie came home and talked to her slipper and said, I just never had the chance to tell you I love you one more time.
He said you didn't have the right
You didn't have the right to leave me like
to
you
leave
did.
me without letting me say I love you one more time.
Did you see the episode where Edith, speaking of his wife that died, was attacked?
Oh my goodness. I think you made me watch
Yes,
that.
was attacked by a potential rapist. Yes, that was a dark moment.
That was scary.
Yes, but it just goes to show you that TV sitcoms, even though for the most part 98, 99% of the times they're lighthearted and fun, it goes to show you that the 2% where they can be dark, they really
it's dark.
They really go dark for it. Were there any TV sitcoms that I left off that you can think of that had very dramatic, dark moments?
I mean, the Archie Bunker one is always one that sticks out. And then Roseanne again, when she finds out that Dan cheats on her.
I looked for that.
Oh my gosh.
I looked for that. We could do a whole segment on dramatic Roseanne moments.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because they always took it there.
Yes. Well, they made you think they were going to take it there a lot of the times. Like, I think about Becky cutting the cheese. They built that up to be something huge, and it was her passing gas.
Yeah.
And then when they finally did break you off with something that was hard, it was hard.
And even on Fresh Prince, there's so many dramatic moments in that I've noticed. There was the episode where Will gets shot at an ATM machine because he pushes Carlton out of the way, and then Carlton wants to get revenge and buys a gun and wants to go look for the guy who did it. There's that.
And Hillary's boyfriend, fiance, died.
They still made that funny because he died in the bungee accident. And then there is the episode in Fresh Prince where Carlton takes speed out of Will's locker and takes it and almost overdoses on it. Yes, very dramatic, dark moments. But that, folks, are some of the darkest moments in sitcom history. I hope you enjoyed. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have to take another break. Stick with us. We still have lots more Off the Cuff coming at you live after these words.
You will listen to JT from the Radio Lex from the Sex Academy, the voice of the people, WLXU 93.9 LPFM, Lexington, Kentucky.
Radio Lex has the support of corner sponsor Central Bank. CentralBank.com.
It takes a great community to make great community radio. We can't do it without you.
Join Radio Lex for as little as $10 a month and earn a place on the Radio Lex sponsor wall at the Gray Line Station and Market. Visit radiolex.us/donate and sign up for a recurring monthly donation with just one click. Support the voice of the people today.
I'll just do this one. It's Kentucky football.
Oh, I'm good with that.
It ain't gonna be long anyway.
That's what.
Are you buckled up? Are your passengers? Seatbelt laws are required
But
by law.
be prepared. Just think, you never
for
know.
good reason. If you're in a crash, wearing a seatbelt can cut your chances of dying almost in half. Hi, this is Drew Grease of State Farm, reminding you to be a good neighbor and wear your seatbelt every time.
Radio Lex has the support of audio engineer extraordinaire Doug Collins. Thanks, Doug.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Ember is also in studio with me. Kentucky football now is 5-3 overall for the season, because number 3, Tennessee, cruised past number 19, Kentucky, in Knoxville this past Saturday to a 44-6 victory. Now, I expected Kentucky to go down in Knoxville to lose, but I did not expect Kentucky to lose by that much. No excuse for that. Embarrassing, as a matter of fact. I thought we were beyond that. Tennessee ended the game on a 37-0 run, holding Kentucky scoreless after the first quarter. What? Kentucky quarterback Will Levis was picked off 3 times, finishing with just 98 yards on 16 of 27 passing. And I've said this before, when Stoops don't have Will Levis, things go wrong. Will Levis had a terrible game. But we can't put this all on Will Levis. That's why it takes a coach to make adjustments and make changes to fix things when your quarterback ain't playing well. Tennessee remains undefeated, improving to an 8-0 record to extend its best start since 1998, and they will face unbeaten Georgia next Saturday. Now, I was very vocal on Twitter like I always am after a UK loss, and I said on my Twitter, and you can follow me on the Adam Banks, I said Stoops is now 2 and let's see exactly what I said because I don't have my Twitter out in front of me. 79. I said Stoops is now 2-8 against Tennessee. I said maybe he will make up for it and become 1-9 when he plays Georgia. You know what they say, 10th time's a charm, which was just a little poke at the fact that 10th time's not a charm. 3rd time is, but 10th time maybe you will beat him. It's ridiculous that we say that this man, the man who everybody wants to build a statue for, has only beaten Tennessee twice, and then I understand that you lost. And I'm not mad at you that you lost, Stoops. It's the fact that we lost by that much. I thought we were beyond those days. Any person we built a statue for don't need to be losing by 36 points. Anybody who gets praise and makes $8 million a year doesn't need to be losing by 36 points. I also said on my Twitter, Stoops makes way too much money to be losing like that. Losses happen. Losses happen all the time. It's just a part of the game. But the fact that you lose by that much is embarrassing. Now, I'm sure Stoops is going to have to make some adjustments. And when I say adjustments, he's going to have to fire people. I think he's learned in his career that if he don't fire people, they'll fire you. So you are going to have to fire somebody with a loss like that. Now, maybe you will redeem yourself and beat Georgia and become 1-9. I hope. I'm really hoping. It could happen. Kentucky could win out the rest of the year. I think that Kentucky will win against Missouri on Saturday. There is no excuse for them not to win on Saturday. So I'm expecting a win on Saturday against Missouri. You can watch that game on the SEC network. It is another early one. It is a noon tip-off. So it will be interesting to actually see what happens there. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take Off the Cuff's Song of the Week break, and I have a goodie. Amber, it's because of you that I am playing this song. It is by Flavor Flav. Unga, Bunga, Bunga. Enjoy the song. We'll be back.
You ain't gonna understand this. Flavor Flav. Baby. RG.
Yeah.
Oh, I was listening to it. Okay, so 9:30 in the morning. 9:30 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't ever read no text messages and it stresses me out. Everything good?
Oh yeah, I'm fixing this. See, we do go to the same studio.
Huh?
I took that video. I'm gonna say, look, we do show up to the same studio.
Who asked if we show up to the same studio?
People always used to say, "Are you all really? Don't you remember we did a whole thing on it?" People used to say, "Are y'all really together in there?" Yeah. Don't you remember we covered this a few times? Amber and I are both live.
Yeah. If you wasn't here, I wouldn't say she's here with me. I'd say she's at her house.
Well, guess what? Now people see. Look at there. Look, I was like, dang, he's gonna walk in right.
And there I am. All right. Ready. Bunga, bunga, bunga. Such a great song. Flavor Flav, didn't he have his own reality show?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, boy.
What was it called?
Goldie, where you been?
Wait, it was called something.
Flavor of Love.
Flavor of Love.
Yes.
And wait, people competed to actually be in a relationship with Flavor Flav.
I will 100% say that if Flavor Flav ever brings back Flavor of Love, I would go on it. I want to love Flavor Flav.
I mean, he was just looking for love.
Hey, all the wrong places though. He had it right over here the whole time.
I felt like when reality TV was really going through their startup back in the 2000s, everybody was getting a reality show.
Well, yes.
I never did watch it though.
Oh my! Now look, I'm leveling with you right now. It actually is a really good show. It kept my attention.
I remember. Do you remember Tila Tequila?
Yeah, she had one shot at love.
Yeah, and she was bisexual.
Well,
so she had a shot at love with everybody.
Well, I just thought bisexual because she was getting paid, so you go on there and buy her love.
No.
No, okay. No.
I don't. Was it, or was that just something you just said?
It's just something I came
Okay,
up with.
no. I was going to say no. I know she was. I know she was bisexual. I watched that show just a little bit.
Just a little bit?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But, Amber, Halloween was this past week. A lot of trick-or-treaters.
How many did we have?
I would say over 200.
We definitely have, I would say over 210.
So Amber and I gave out candy.
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to deal with it at my house. I gave it over at her house.
Well, and I love it, so.
Saw some cool costumes.
We saw some great costumes.
Disappointed that I did not see any wrestlers.
Not a wrestler in sight.
But I'm happy to see that the legends of Halloween still make their way around. Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy, Ghostmask. You see all of those.
We've seen a lot of the Screams this year.
Yes.
I liked that.
What was some of your favorite costumes you
Oh my goodness, we had the little boy dressed up from
The Little Rascals.
The Little Rascals.
That was cool. One of my favorite ones was this kid who had to be too old to be trick-or-treating, had to be like 16. His costume was an illusion.
Yeah.
And it looked like that an alien had him picked up and was carrying him around. I don't know how he convinced me that that's what it looked like, but it was an illusion.
Hey, he had us all convinced.
And it was cool. I had a few kids get more candy than what they were supposed to.
Hey, that one Stone Cold stared you down.
And well, he sized me up.
He was going to fight you.
He sized me up to see, can I take this candy from this bow from this man and him be able to take me? And he sized me up, looked me up and down, and then grabbed the candy out of the bow.
Grabbed like 3 more bags.
And exactly what he thought happened. I didn't say nothing.
What did you say?
I just withered away like a little flower. I couldn't say anything to him.
What are you going to say, buddy? Bring it back?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I let him have it. But I do love trick-or-treating. It's fun, and I had a really good time.
Well, we love it because we've made it into a holiday that we always wanted it to be. Just us giving out candy to little kids, laughing at them.
Yes, and it was a good time. And another Halloween is in the books. But ladies and gentlemen, stick with us. We still have one more segment to go right here on Off the Cuff. We'll be right back.
Have you been drinking? If so, you shouldn't be behind the wheel. Adults metabolize alcohol at a rate of 1 drink per hour. If you've been drinking, your judgment is impaired whether you realize it or not. Only time will sober you up. Cold showers and coffee don't do the trick. Every 2 minutes...
Who you tell? Hey, speak for yourself.
Drunk drivers account for 10%.
Oh, well,
disagree.
drunk shower. Oh, well, I didn't know something about drinking.
Hi, this is
I can't drink and drive. I don't drink.
You to be a good
I was gonna say we don't even
neighbor,
drink.
driver if you've been drinking.
Radio Lex has the support of Groovolution. Given to the groove. Groovolution.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Amber is also in studio with me. Last segment of the hour. The city of Lexington is holding general elections for the mayor, Urban County Council, coroner, county attorney, county clerk, county judge executive, county surveyor, sheriff, property valuation administrator, county commission, constables, magistrates, soil and water conservation district, district court judges, and circuit court judges, all on November the 8th, 2022. It is the general election. Now, we had the primary back in May, but now the general election across America is on November the 8th. It's election day in America. Now, the primary, different states have different dates for when their primary election is, but the whole country votes on general election on the same day, which is November 8th. November the 8th, on election day, is very important. Getting out and going out and voting is very important. Do you plan on, Amber, going out and voting?
Absolutely.
On November the 8th? Now, I have not voted yet since I have been in my new home.
Mm-hmm.
And I've not, so I don't know where the polls is.
Oh.
So I got to figure out that, which always makes me anxious.
Ooh.
But everybody needs to go out and vote. It is not your right. It is your duty. I've always said that. Now, I'm going to tell you, audience, why it's so important to go out and vote. Because elections, they have consequences. Every vote matters. Every vote matters. Now, this isn't a presidential election, and we know that presidential elections, they draw a more significant crowd, and they draw more significant attention. But most of the offices that are being ran this time around on this election day is your local offices. How important is it to be very careful with who you put in there for your mayor and your city council and your local offices? Very important.
Very important.
If there's low turnout, that means that your important issues are not very important to you. So elections have consequences. Every vote matters. While you think, oh, my vote don't matter, whoever's going to win is going to win. If everybody had that mentality, then the numbers would be flawed. The right person didn't win. So get out and vote. Be a part of society. Don't just exist. Be a part of it. Number two, it's your right. Not voting is giving up your voice. Listen here, you are giving up your voice because we here in America, we went through a lot. Our ancestors, our people, our founding fathers went through a lot for the ability for you to even go out and vote. Now, here in America, at the age of 18, you are entitled to vote in federal and state elections. But the Constitution did not specifically say who could vote back in the 1800s. It was not until the 15th Amendment was passed in 1869 that black men were allowed to vote. But now black men can vote. But there's a lot of black people that still don't go out and vote. Why? You have a right now to do so. Women. Did you know that it was not until 1920 that women was not allowed to vote? Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of women that don't go out and vote still. There was a time, ladies, that you wasn't even allowed to go and vote. Later, in 1971, the American voting age was lowered to 18. And guess what? There's a lot of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds that don't go out and vote still. So, the fact that all of these laws have changed for you to go out and vote, and all these amendments have been revised and edited for you to go out and vote, and you still don't, you're giving up your right, you're giving up your voice. And I say this to anybody, any gender, any race, go out and vote. It is your duty to do so. It took many years of marching, protesting, and fighting for all of us to have the right to vote. So, exercise your power to do so. Number 3, it's your money. It's your money, folks. So these little taxes that all your local officials are raising and stuff, you have the power to vote on who gets in there to make those decisions. Number 4, voting is an opportunity for change. You don't like who's in there? Guess who has the power to go and possibly change that? You do. So go out and do that. And finally, the community depends on you. So, and we've got a couple days until Election Day. We're 5 days away from it. You need to be getting informed. You need to read up on the issues. You need to find out what's going on both locally and nationally. Get educated. Learn about what things need to be addressed. Get out and talk to people if you don't know. Talk to some people. Contact a candidate if you're on the fence of who to vote for, and talk to them personally, or talk to someone from their campaign personally. That will speak volumes if you actually get a hold of the actual candidate. That will actually speak a lot of volumes. Volunteer. You can work with outreach campaigns. You can volunteer and help people at the polls. You can help work the polls if you want. Be a part of society. I think it's so important.
Absolutely, and plus you get a sticker, and a lot of places give you free stuff if you've got that sticker on.
Yes.
There's the bang for your buck.
And I've always said this, if you don't go out and vote, you have no right to argue and complain about anything that's going on in the country that you live in if you didn't go out and vote. Now, if you did vote, you can complain all you want because you actually went out there and voted.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm vocal usually with who I vote for and who I don't. And usually when the person that I don't want, when the person that I voted for don't win, I'm usually very vocal about the policies that he or she puts in place. And I'm like, well, you can't blame me. But at least I went and voted. Now, if you're somebody who didn't go out and vote, then I don't want to hear your opinion because you didn't go out and vote. My point is, I'm not yelling at you. I'm not preaching to you. I'm just reminding how important it is to go out and do that. I'm especially excited in my home county of Knott County to see who wins that county judge executive seat.
That's going to be interesting.
What's hilarious is Amber's old stepdaddy is running.
He ain't my stepdaddy.
Well, your mom's old husband.
Look, now you can
what do you call
can
that?
tell we're Eastern Kentucky right now. That's my brother's daddy.
So your mom used to be married to him, right?
Yes, I think when they were younger teenagers. Yeah, way before I came into the picture. Tracy's older than me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But that's
not my stepdaddy.
that is still funny. That your mom's ex-husband could be the county judge executive.
I think it's hilarious.
Yes, it's going to be a close one.
It will be.
It will be a close one. I'm always interested to see who wins in local elections. Local elections, you talk about drama.
A lot of it.
Yes.
It's been interesting.
It has been interesting. There's been so much, I bet there's been so much beer passed out, you would make your head spin.
All I'll say is I have not seen as much drama as I have any other year than this year. This year has been like nobody came to play.
Now, local politics get just as dirty as the national politics do.
Yeah, and dirtier.
Maybe even dirtier.
Yeah.
How many blacktop driveways do you think were promised this election?
How many ton of gravel?
Or a ton of gravel.
Yeah,
Yeah. How many jobs were promised?
How many Milwaukee's best were passed around?
How many $20 bills were passed around? You see that all the time happening in local elections. That's just a part of it. It is illegal.
I mean, and it's factual. We aren't just making things up. These are factual things that have happened in our county. We've had representatives, not representatives, but politicians go to federal prison.
Several politicians.
Yeah, so we are not making this up.
2 of our big politicians went to prison.
Yeah.
And say what you want to about them, I thought they were pretty daggone good county judge executives when they had the office.
I'd vote for both of them again if I was there.
I would too.
Both of them.
But here's what gets me. Donnie Newsom went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
He was the county judge executives. He was busted for vote buying. He went to jail. But he ran again for office. How was that legal?
I have no clue.
I thought that if you went to federal prison, you couldn't run for office.
Yeah.
But he sure did.
You thought wrong.
He ran again.
You were misinformed.
He didn't win, but he ran.
I would have voted for him if I could have.
I still have my Donnie Newsom for county judge executive shirt.
That's a national treasure. Keep it.
It is. I cut the sleeves off, but I still wear it.
Why'd you make a cutoff?
Because I'm from Knott County. That's why I made a cutoff. But election day around the country is November the 8th, and go out and do that. Ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps up another episode of Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can listen to all of our previous episodes by subscribing to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, or wherever major podcasting platforms are. You can follow the show on social media at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can follow the co-host on social media at Mbu447. You can follow me, the host, on social media at The Adam Banks. We release new episodes every Thursday from 4 to 5 right here on WLXU 93.9 FM, which means we will be back next week with a brand new episode. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Amber Turner. I'm Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff. We'll catch you down the road.
Watch out.